Hey, in this video we're going to be making a retro apartment building. What I hope is going to end up to be a colourful, vibrant, retro apartment building with a lot of bold colours mixed with some materials that I'm more used to using. So these are really like my initial ideas when I thought about making this build. I really like to get my ideas out visually before I actually start a build because I think it helps me understand what the effect I'm going for, what the build's going to look like, what the vibe is. So what I want to start with is I want to make the base. Usually for the bottom story for these sorts of old apartment buildings, I like to pick out a stone block and build some big pillars, some big structural stuff, and just make it look very supported. So I think I'm just gonna go with stone bricks here, and I'm not sure how big I want this to be. We'll see, I guess, but let's say that's one pillar, and then we can have like, maybe I'll get some concrete and block everything out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks between each pillar, and maybe we'll have 3 pillars. I like to make it like a nice odd number of blocks, and I think that that's like plenty of space to create a wall of some description. And so what I want to do with these pillars is bring them up 3 blocks with some walls just to give them some extra shape, maybe even higher, maybe 5 blocks. That does look quite tall, but I think that that's alright. And then I think what we'll do is do something like this, cover the tops of them, and just stairs, I think, and just cover it all with stairs coming out, something like that. I think that if we went too far out, that would look a little bit unbalanced, but I think it's fine. The only issue we face now is what do we do under here? Maybe we put bricks in, even like a block inwards. That would even work. Yeah, that's not bad. What if we tried it right where this yellow is on this level? What I really want to emphasize here is that building does not happen just like because you know what to do. You have to try out a lot of things and make decisions based on them. I think I like this one better. I think this one, it looks good, but I don't like how it like meshes here. I'm not sold on this bit though, the trimming. I think it looks too top heavy. Yeah, building really is a combination of decisions of what looks better and just going from there, trying out all the different options and saying what works and what doesn't. I think here though, if we're going to do this, then we need some sort of design, something like that almost. Yeah, honestly that's good, I like that. Even if we just put like a slab here, because it's not really the greatest width for something like this, but like that's good. I think that that's maybe something like that even. What's a fence that we can interchange with that? I don't know. Mangrove fence? Doesn't really work. We could make this like that. Ooh, that's not bad. Actually, I like that. Might have to change that though to be down facing. That just adds like a little bit of extra like texture, you know? I love my texture. And then what to do for the windows? How do you get in? That's probably a better question to answer. How do you get into this? Maybe we have a really nice big arched door. Something like that. Maybe we use dark oak. I think that that's good. Honestly, that's not bad. That's not horrifying. But it doesn't really look that good, does it? I think I need the brick. I think I need this to be brick. That to work. That's not bad. But then I suppose, what do we do for this side? Big windows, maybe. I want to go for weird and wacky shapes here. What if we did something like this? I think that looks pretty good. But if you see like the amount of depth that even this bottom layer has, like we start with a first layer, then we have a second layer, and then we have the actual like foundational wall, I suppose, and then we have like the interior window details. Like that's like a solid 4 blocks of detail, and you can like go even more. But it just adds so much more realisticness to the build because it's not flat and 2D, and it actually looks like it's like coming out at you. It's good. And then we have so much like texture with all the different shapes. We've used like walls and we've used stairs in all sorts of different ways. Yeah, I'm not sold on this. Maybe we'll take it away. Maybe we'll just make it flat, so not make it come out over the pillars, but have the stairs like that. Maybe that's fine. What I want to do now is maybe turn these pillars on the upper bit into maybe quartz. So if we make this come back another block, we're going to transition this build into something that's very like sleek and not modern like modern day, but like modern for the mid-century. So if we have pillars here like that, maybe. There's not really like a good wall for this. There's no quartz wall, so you'd have to use like diorite. But I think that's okay. I think this has like a lot of color, and I think it does make it look a lot more modern. And then I want to try and do this. So this is 3 layers of detail already, and we're going to add that to something that already has 2 layers. So we're going to grab bricks, warped wood, cyan stained glass paint, and smooth quartz. And what I want to do is start it from here, I think. So we already have 2 layers, we're adding a 3rd layer behind that, and then we're coming back another layer again. Gotta love all of the detail. And adding in stripped wood. And I'm gonna make this 5 tall and then block out 3 tall windows with cyan stained glass in there. And then top it off with brick. Cover that with the stairs. That looks so good. I really think that looks good. We can add in like shutters and stuff later. Maybe even like lift this up another layer. Like that maybe. I'm not 100% sold. I don't like how this is really big. I'm gonna do some reshuffling, see what we can figure out from this, because I don't like this. Actually, I've decided I think that the quartz pillars are too thick for how thin this is. So my first initial idea was to split up the warped wood sections with small thin sort of pillars of brick. So you'd have 1 brick, 5 warped, and then some brick, and then some warped, and then some brick. So it's evenly spaced above the foundations. However, I think that would be a little bit too much color for my liking. I want this build to have a pop of color, but not be completely like very vibrant. So then I came over here and decided that I wanted to stick with more of like this idea of having the windows framed in warped wood, but not have it as like a feature on large expanses of wall. So we've got this window design. I'm still sort of finessing with like the tops of it and stuff. I think that like we'll figure it out as we go. Maybe even something like that could be nice. But we'll figure this out as we move along. But I think something like this with a couple of those windows right near each other might be nicer than this, because it is quite it's quite large scale with those pillars, and I think that it's just a bit much, and with just like a simple pillar for this. So we will knock this down, see what we can do with just some simpler pillars. It's important for a build to be centered, I think. Maybe if we have some skirting there, and then we have one. I do want a little bit of separation though. And then we have warped behind here. It's a little cramped, but I think that's okay. I think that that's a nice pop of color. Obviously these windows will be higher, but this is like the basic plan. So we have 2 blocks, and then we have the windows, and then we have another 2 blocks. And I think that that will look perfectly. So I'm going to build that up a little bit, keeping this sort of idea, such design in mind. And we will see what that looks like. So following on from this theory, I decided to add in an extra block in between the windows, which has led to this, which I think is pretty cool. With apartment buildings like this, it's pretty easy to just make up a little window formula, add some appropriate spacing and some nice breaks, I guess, and then just continue upwards as long as you really want to. And I think that 4 stories above the foundation is about as far as I want to go. With this, I think it's a good height. Maybe I'll go taller for this section. Who knows? I think I'll also add in a decently tall roof as well. But I've just fixed up the spacing a little bit. The spacing with this is always a little bit of trial and error. So here we have quartz, this sort of support, and that will come across at like the intersection between the 2 stories. And then we have some bricks, windows, bricks, windows. And then here we're going to add in a nice brick pillar, I suppose, just for some variation. I might change this to either quartz or a color. I'm not 100% sure yet. Maybe like yellow or something, not sure. And then on this other side, I'm going to remove this and basically mirror this up this side. I want to create a really nice roof, so I'm going to continue up this quartz here. And then what I want to do is add in some dark oak slabs because I really want this to frame the roof. I've decided that dark oak and warped stairs is going to be the roof, so dark oak framing, I guess, and then warped sort of filling in. So this is going up a block because then we can get dark oak fences and iron bars and sort of interchange them here. And I think that this is a really nice sort of like trimming. I usually do this in more like gothic builds, but I think that it's an interesting touch to add to this build, which looks quite pristine at the moment. We will add some more smaller details later. I want to create like a nice window shape. So from the middle of this, so maybe this is where it ends, and then we can sort of create a little arch, an upside down arch, I suppose. I think that that's a really nice arch. It's sort of centered on top of this, and I will actually make it out of dark oak. So I'll just bring this all back a block and then make the front part out of dark oak just to like make it pop a little bit more. I think adding a sort of trimming to a roof is just one way to make it stand out a bit more. And I think that this is a really nice combination. Just like that, I think that's really cute. So the idea for this part is we're just gonna make it come up steep, and then maybe we'll make it gradually ease off. So maybe here it'll just be normal stairs, and then it will just be flat for the rest of the build. Honestly, apartment buildings are mostly about your front perception and maybe like a little bit on an angle, but you're never looking at it really side on. So I think that sort of a shape is fine, and then just having it come straight back I think is quite alright, quite acceptable. Maybe we'll put even like some iron bars on the roof like that. And I think that that's pretty good. We'll come back and add in some details and all of that good stuff later. What I'm going to do now is basically just replicate this on the other side. If I had the skills, I would use world edit, but I don't, so I'm just going to do it by hand. So now I've just copied over this side onto this side of the building. I've also just built up the sides with just a stone brick at the bottom and the bricks for the rest of it. I'm not really going to worry about detailing all the sides. So now what we have to do is figure out this middle section, and what I've just decided to do is I think that if we just go up with bricks, then it will look fine, I guess. If it doesn't, well, then that's a problem that we get to in the future. Maybe to about there. If we make it look like a chimney, that might even work. I think that actually might be the best option here. What I'm just going to do is just remove this spacing, basically just planning out where everything would be. just remove that. And honestly, I think that's fine. What I'm gonna do now is just bring this back and link it up with the back of the build, just for some continuity, I guess. And then what I think we can do from about here is that like every 3 or so blocks we can put a campfire, maybe a block above it so only a little bit comes out. Maybe we even add in just like stairs. Does that count as a full block? Yeah, I don't think that will work. Oh well. I think we'll have to sacrifice the visual effects. But like that looks like a pretty decent fireplace. And then here we can add another one, and then down here another one, and then just make them like alternating heights. And I think that that's really sells it that it's a chimney. I think that that's good. Can even change like some of these to windows, maybe like a higher, smaller window. That's kind of cute. So that's just in line with like the top of these windows. And then we'll just grab maybe a different color glass, maybe light gray stained glass. Yeah, that's not bad. And basically like that's it for the build. We'll come in and add in a little more detail, but for the second I'm just going to finish off this roof. So what I first want to do is figure out some sort of design for down here, because it's sort of just like is flat, and I think that that's like fine-ish, I guess, but I'm not 100% happy with leaving it like that. So we'll try out something like that on either end, and alternating between stone and oh, they connect. I did not realize that these connected. Something like that, and I think that that's like fine. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that that just connects it and makes it look a little bit more real. And then we've got some mangrove leaves, and I think we'll use warped trapdoors. Actually, maybe not. Maybe we'll use something that fits in nicely. So maybe mangrove trapdoors and signs. So maybe down here we'll just have bamboo, some lanterns, and some azalea saplings. And then the next level we'll have some mangrove leaves in some planter boxes, just like this. And then maybe the next one up we'll have just some azalea and some bamboo, and then the next one we'll have some more leaves. And I think just alternating between them so it doesn't look all the same or all completely different. Just for some finishing touches, I switched out the middle pillar, column, whatever you want to call it. I've switched it out to be stone bricks because I think that it provides more of a contrast than the brick did. Pro tip, always get advice from your friends on your builds, because they can like provide a perspective that you haven't necessarily thought of. So that's been switched out to stone. There's a lot more contrast, it just looks a lot more nice, and it brings up the stone from the bottom through the rest of the build, which is always good. And then I've just put it on a stone sort of plate, just like outlined it so it looks more set in to the environment. And then inside I've just added in some flooring, just so when you look through this window it's not grass. So here's the final build. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon for another video.